Guys, it's 11:30 at night on a Friday. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have any other time to fit the show in anywhere else. I really don't. Uh, you're welcome. So, first of all, I'm lazy and I'm doing this as a live stream because I don't feel like recording it on my laptop and having like a 200 gigabyte file that I have to upload to YouTube. Do you understand? It's like it takes forever to upload it and edit it and do all this. It's easier this way. I don't know where my secondary camera is right now. I have to find it. So we're going to have to show off some of the collection the old fashioned way here. But I've got so much stuff and I got to get it out. So, late night stream. First of all, guys, if you haven't played this, priority number one, you need to play it. So, on the gaming front, I have been playing both. Okay, so the Gen 4 remake, I think it's Shining Pearl is the name of it. I got Shining Pearl, beat it. I actually was pleased because at the very end, the Elite Four was challenging and Cynthia was difficult to take down. I actually got my butt handed to me the first time that I tried. Had to go back, had to try it again. And then after a lot of leveling, I was able to do it. So I'm in the post game for Shining Pearl. I have to complete the Pokedex. I'm working on a bunch of legendaries right now. There's like this painstaking thing where you have to go into the underground area and dig up these specific type of gems in order to unlock the legendaries. So, of course, between the Shining, okay, so I do this every gen, right? I wait or I look if I know ahead of time and I'm going to get it day one, and I look to see what exclusives are going to be on each one besides the main legendary. And I always go for the one that's going to favor more Gen 1 exclusives. So Shining Pearl had the legendary birds, and this was rough. Normally it's an easier pick for me. The other one, the diamond, the brilliant diamond, had the legendary dogs, the Johto dogs. So that was difficult because it's like I like Suicune a lot. I still like Raikou and Entei, but the it's like if you put them up there, the birds are my favorites as far as the legendaries with Mewtwo, and then the dogs are right underneath that with Lugia because I like silver more than gold. So anyway, Shining Pearl was the one that I got. I'm in the post game. I'm working on it. I'm actually about to unlock the birds. I think I've got one more legendary before the birds start unlocking. I actually have to get back on that because I have been playing this so much. I am in the post game for this as well. Legends Arceus is a phenomenal game. Now, when I say that, first of all, people are sitting here, I heard the graphics are bad, or I don't like the graphics. Guys, if you're playing Pokemon games for graphics at this point, you've missed it completely. They don't do graphics. That's never been the point of Pokemon games. They're not interested in the high quality graphics. Granted, I understand they could have spent more time on it. Some of the Pokemon that are out in the distance are like all sorts of choppy. They look like they're having seizures while they're trying to move around. It's ridiculous. But outside of that, it's an open world game where you can interact and you can do, there's boundaries, just like in Breath of the Wild, where you can't go past a certain point. But it is, how do I put this? It's a step in the right direction, and it's the largest step that I've seen them take way outside of the normal comfort zone. Because I'm going to be honest, X and Y was my last kind of favorite series. I know a lot of people like Sun and Moon. I was okay with Sun and Moon. It wasn't awful. But X and Y was really the last time that I felt that they had something solid. And then it got too gimmicky, continued to move on, and I wasn't having it from there. So I know a lot of people like Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield is actually like one of my least favorite entries, but this game helped in terms of redeeming them. So the game is really, really fun. I like it. Um, I am hoping that they use it as a stepping stone for more games to come. So that they continue this type. And I think because they revealed, so we also have news now that Gen 9 is coming out and they're going to have, I think it's Violet and Scarlet are the two names of the like the what do you call it? The two different versions. And so, from the looks of the trailer and from what people have been saying, it's also going to be open world. Now, probably in a different vein. I think they're still going to have like the gyms and everything in that one because if you haven't played this game, it's basically like the beginnings of Pokemon, almost like a Pokemon origin story. And so it doesn't have the gyms. In fact, if you go through and you play through it, there's a lot more of like people are cautious, right? A lot of the NPCs are like, oh, well, Pokemon are, something to be feared. We can't control them. And you're one of the few people that are comfortable actually attempting to control them. So it's really interesting seeing kind of like the origins of where stuff started. And it was because they just did the Gen 4 remakes. This is supposed to take place in the Gen 4 region. So Sinnoh before Sinnoh was actually Sinnoh, right? And I think they call it's like Husai or something like that. Is the Husai region. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, but it is a really, really good game. Now I'm pissed off because a I had a glitch that occurred where there was okay, so it's in the post game, and I googled this and I saw that there was some huge glitch, but they're supposedly going to patch it. In the post game, there's an area where you're hunting down supposed to talk to trigger the event, but because you have the ability to fly in the overworld, like you have complete freedom. It's not like it just delivers you to one area. You have complete freedom to fly in the overworld to one area or another. I completely skipped over the NPC that was supposed to initiate that like quest line, and I just completed the quest anyway. And then when you go back to turn it in, the NPC doesn't recognize that you didn't initially like take the quest or whatever. And so now I'm in this glitch where I want to complete the Pokedex, but it won't recognize that I've actually caught the legendary that I have. So I physically have it in my inventory. Like I have the I think it was Cresselia, maybe. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. The like lunar one that's got the rainbow tail. But anyway, I have it in my inventory and the Pokedex doesn't realize or acknowledge that I've got it. And it's because the NPC didn't trigger that event because I flew over it and skipped it. And now it's like it's just yeah, it's pissing me off. So, all right. Now, that's games. The next thing is the collection. And guys, the collection, I've been opening all sorts of stuff over the past couple months. And, having a bout with death where I couldn't breathe, developing multiple courses that I'm going to be offering at my school next year. I haven't had time to share all of this. So later we can open something on stream if there's interest in that. But I have been, okay, so what have I been opening? First of all, Evolving Skies is it is probably the best modern set that I've seen. Modern being like, let's draw the line for modern at where X and Y started, and then cutting the line off at there. So it's like anything before that. Black and white is even kind of like I don't even know what to classify that as now because it was modern back when I was collecting X and Y and Sun and Moon. But I feel like black and white, because you're talking about like 2012 to 13 was when those cards started dropping off. Like they weren't doing print runs on them anymore. So at that point, I feel like it slowly was like fading from modern into some sort of mid zone, right? It's not like WotC stuff. That's the old stuff that I grew up with in the 90s. Anyway, so what I've got, Evolving Skies, I've been opening. It's one of the best that you've got. Pikachu V, Nice. So, Rhythm Ram, did you pull the Pikachu V from the new Brilliant Stars? Because you've got Pikachu V in the help me out, Vivid Voltage, and then you've also got Pikachu V in the Brilliant Stars, the new Brilliant Stars set. So, guys, Brilliant Stars, holy cow! Brilliant Stars is fantastic. Okay, yeah, yeah, dude. I've been opening Brilliant Stars like crazy. Obviously, chasing Charizard. I did get one Charizard. It wasn't the one that I wanted, but Brilliant Stars is phenomenal. And what's sad is that I heard so they're having a second print run of it, but the print run isn't nearly as high for the first initial wave as like Evolving Skies and some of the others were. At least that's the rumor that's been going around. So I have okay, going back to what I've been opening more recently. Evolving Skies. I got my hands on Evolving Skies. So the way that I have to do it, because I still have resellers and people that snatch up all the stuff in my area. And I know that for a fact because I went to Walmart and I was actually doing the family shopping Saturday. And it was like before my kids got up, I was like, I just want to do this. I want to get it over with. I don't want to shop with the kids as they're like, sitting there agitating one another. And then I'm having to keep them calm. So anyway, I went at like 6 in the morning. They had a bunch of stuff that was stocked there. And I was like, this is phenomenal. I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to clear a bunch of stuff off the shelves and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check out. Well, when I checked out, the woman at the checkout was basically like, there's a sign up. You're only supposed to take one of these. And so I did like the whole dumb thing. I was like, oh, I don't know. I didn't know that. Um, and she was like, yeah, but it's early enough. So I'm just going to let it go and you can buy it. So I was like, fantastic. But she was like, yeah, the people that have been in the area have been stalking the vendor. And I was like, what do you mean stalking the vendor? She's like, oh yeah, they like found out the vendor's route and they started stalking the vendor, actually finding would be making the deliveries and they would start lining up and then coming in and just clearing out the shelves, like the stuff that I would see on social media that was ridiculous. So, my technique now, I've found that it's almost always sometime between a Thursday and a Saturday that they will have a restock. And the earlier in the morning you go, they open at 6 a.m., the more likely you are to be able to find something. So I was able to find Evolving Skies. That's what I first had. It was like a whole bunch of the single sleeve blisters that were there. So I grabbed some of those. And then I basically made a habit where usually Thursday, Friday, and then if it works out, depending on what's going on, Saturday mornings, I will try to get in there super early and I will try to find if they've got anything stocked. Okay. It's hit or miss. So sometimes it's like you go in there and they have nothing. Today, this morning, I went before I had to drive out to school because I have like an hour and a half commute. So I can't spend a whole lot of time browsing and trying to look for things in other sections. They had one box and it was really weird because it was a Sun and Moon like deck box back from the GX era, but it only had 2 packs and then it had like one of those pre-constructed decks for like $25. So I wasn't interested in that. But anyway, I've gone before and I found like several elite trainer boxes and some other various stuff like that for Brilliant Stars. So that being said, all right. Sorry if there were issues there. Something just said my connection was unstable. So I just tried to refresh and jump actually onto the like boosted router that we have. Okay. So Evolving Skies, celebrations. So I was able to find some celebrations elite trainer boxes. And then the last thing that I was able to get a hold of most recently was Brilliant Stars. So by far, so how do I put this? Celebrations is interesting, but it's supposed to be really a non-playable card set. It's more like just a 25th anniversary congratulations pat on the back to Pokemon, but they've got reprints of a bunch of the old types of cards that are very nostalgic. So I did open one for fun. I have another one that's sealed that I have over in the, the sealed investment, sealed collection sort of stuff. Brilliant Stars has got so many good pulls in it. It's very difficult for me to hold on to stuff. If I pick up stuff for Brilliant Stars, it's very difficult for me to set it aside and be like, I'm going to keep this for sealed collection purposes or as an investment, because it is so nice to open. The Not only is the card set nice, but the pull rates are way better than Evolving Skies. So Evolving Skies was probably the best modern set that I've seen. Just from because it had all of the different Eevee and evolutions, minus like one or two. It had all of the Rayquaza. It had Suicune. It basically hit like a whole bunch of favorites. If they had had Charizard in there, it would have been like the God set, perfect, without any flaw. The thing with Evolving Skies that I have personally found, and I've heard a lot of other people say this, is that the pull rates are very difficult in it. And I know I felt that way because I still have, I don't even know what, like 10 hanging blister packs that I have set aside, but I opened at least like 10 or 15 of them. And when I did, I think I got like two pulls, like two decent pulls, and the rest of them were all just like normal rares and stuff like that. So anyway, let's go through some of the pulls that I got from. I think we'll do the celebrations first. Okay. So celebrations. This comes in every Elite Trainer box, but if you can get one, I definitely suggest trying it. So it's a Greninja Gold Star. So these are basically, if you don't remember or you weren't, I actually wasn't collecting during that point, but I have seen them and they're awesome cards. Back in the like probably around the 3rd gen era, they did the Gold Star cards. And the Gold Star cards were when they started introducing like shinies into the game, back when they were like super, super rare. You could, inevitably obtain shinies through random chance. And so they had the same sort of design where they would basically have a card, like they had Rayquaza and Suicune and Umbreon and a bunch of the popular ones. But the chance of pulling one, I don't even remember the exact odds. I want to say it was like 1 in every 3 booster boxes. So it's like a booster box has 36 packs in it. So you're talking about maybe 1 in every 100 packs you could pull a Gold Star. That is like actual rarity, because you have to realize, and it's kind of gimmicky, but nowadays they turn around and they're like ultra rare. Well, when I was growing up, if something was ultra rare, so for instance, there was a Dragon Ball Z collectible card game, which I've got a whole bunch of Dragon Ball Z stuff I'd love to show at some point for that collectible card game. The ultra rares in the Dragon Ball Z card game were ridiculously difficult to pull. I mean, when I say ridiculously difficult, it was like 1 per booster case. So you would order like 6 booster boxes or 8 booster boxes or whatever it was in a whole case that you would get shipped to you, like a distributor would send it to you. And in one of those boxes, you could potentially get an ultra rare. And so I remember collecting that with my brother when we were growing up. One time, once in the, like, I don't even know, hundreds, if not close to thousands of packs that we opened, did we get a single ultra rare. And as a result, as a consequence, those cards now, even in like a non-graded condition, are like $800, $1,000, $2,000, because they were so difficult to pull and they weren't mass printed into oblivion. So anyway, this kind of mimics those Gold Stars that were super difficult to get. The cool thing about this, if you want to call it a cool thing, is that you get one in every single Elite Trainer box. And I have another one that's sealed, and I've literally almost thought of opening it just for the sake of getting a hold of another one of these, because I love the artwork. Greninja is my favorite from Gen 6. I obviously love that it's shiny, and the old school style of the card, like just looking up here, seeing the actual Gold Star and everything else, is really cool. So I am a fan of those. They're not expensive. And so I may go online instead of opening my sealed material and just have the, like pick a couple of them up. I actually did that there's a promo card called Lance's Charizard. And right now, Lance's Charizard is going for like $4 or $5 because it was a Celebrations promo. Celebrations is currently active. There are Charizard promos back from the 20th anniversary 5 years ago that are like anywhere between $50 to $100 now because it's a Charizard. So I'm hoping I'm going to invest in a couple of them and have them for trade or other stuff later. Obviously, I'll be keeping one because Charizard is my favorite and part of that collection. Carson, do you and your brother have the card now? No, not at all. So my brother and I, we ran a card business where we flipped cards. So when we were in high school, what we actually did was, so we started by selling candy. And I remember we actually got in trouble for it because the baseball team, like the guy who coached the baseball team, was trying to sell candy to raise money for the baseball team, and we would directly undercut him. And he was a teacher there. And I remember the one time he pulled us aside and he was like, "What are you fundraising for?" And my brother and I were like, "For ourselves because we want money." And he was furious about it. He was like, "You can't fundraise in here anymore. You're not allowed to sell your candy." So anyway, we moved on to cards from that. And what we used to do after we had raised enough capital from flipping candy bars and doing stuff like that, we would invest it into booster boxes of cards, and we would open the cards and we would sell all of the super rare cards. So I remember when we actually got that, we were super hyped about it. But it was back in the day, it was like a $250 or $300 card. And you're talking about I mean, we were in high school. So it was like that was a massive score when we got that card. So no, we ended up taking it and putting it on eBay with a lot of the other ones that we got, and we flipped it. I do have some cards like from that era that we opened. I also have a bunch of other cards that have for my personal collection that are, I've reordered since off of eBay, but I don't have that original card. And I looked the other day because I'm interested in like buying and investing in some of those cards. And the card that my brother and I pulled, what is going for like over $1,000 right now. So, while I'm interested, I wouldn't put that. I'm not currently in the market to put that much money into a single card, unless I'm lucky enough to pull it. So, and I don't think there's any modern cards that are like four figures when it comes out right away. I mean, maybe like down the line, 10 years from now, it might be. So, all right. So the next two pulls that I got from Celebrations, and this one may be kind of hard to see, but you can probably see it there. They had these cool full arts back in the black white era. And so you've got Zekrom, and they have another Reshiram one. And this was one of the two that I pulled. So it's a really nice full art legendary. That was probably the best hit of the box. So what I wanted was the Charizard. I always chase the Charizards. The Charizard pull is more difficult, so I didn't get it. Again, I do have another Celebrations Elite Trainer box. So if you still had it, would you sell it? No, I would not. So, I'm not against flipping cards. If I had a second one, I probably would. But first of all, because I grew up with it and I'm like nostalgic for that particular era of card collecting now, I wouldn't let go of it. Um, I would definitely hold on to it. So I say that I would hold on to it at the current price point. Okay. If it got like way higher where you're starting to talk about like, oh, it's like $10,000 or something like that. At that point, I might consider flipping it for something. So, but no, I would keep it right now. Okay. So I got a holographic Dark Gyarados. Okay. So this was from the Team Rocket set that was back in like 2001, if I'm not mistaken. The Rocket set was sadly the last set that I collected back when I was growing up. So base set was by far the one that I was collecting the most. After base set, my brother and I would go around and we would collect Jungle and Fossil, which basically once you got through base set, jungle and fossil, you had access to the entire 150 original Pokemon through those 3 sets. So after that, they started doing the Team Rocket set and like these other spin-off sets. Rocket was the last set that I remember collecting, and I actually do have I'm not going to go through my whole collection over there right now and dig it out, but I do have the non-holographic version of this, and it's first edition. So I do have the first edition copy of it, and it's in pretty good condition. I'm considering at some point when grading actually opens back up and is like reasonably priced, I may end up doing that. Okay, so this is interesting, and I got more than one of these. This is, and I thought these were rare when I first pulled it, and then I realized they're like not as rare as I originally thought, but the artwork is amazing. So this is the artwork for the original Pikachu in the base set, but it did not have this background. So what they did was they took the original art for the Pikachu from the base set back in 1998 and they gave it like a full art effect. So it looks more modern in terms of like the whole full art effect that you get from some of the nicer cards that you would pull nowadays, but they kind of retroactively put that Pikachu onto that modern artwork, and the end result looks really, really nice. I like this card a lot. And one of the reasons I like it is because if you've played the original, so you know when I've played the original on the channel, which I know I need to get back to playing that, the first place that you can get a Pikachu is in Viridian Forest. And I've always told you, like, you need to get the Pikachu if you do Charmander as the starter, because that's the only, like, valid way to get through Misty's gym. And that's exactly what the background reminds me of. It's like if you look at the background with the trees and everything else in there and the grass, it looks like it's a Pikachu that would have appeared in Viridian Forest, which is pretty cool. Dark Sylveon. This is actually a promo card. So I did find a Dark Sylveon box, one of those early morning Walmart runs that I did that had celebration packs in the box. So that's a nice promo. And any of the evolutions are usually worth hanging on to. The evolution as a whole, like, what do you say, like family or evolved group is one of my favorites. Another Pikachu full art. So this was probably one of the, maybe the second or third best hit I got, which is the Donphan. Again, it was more common than I thought, but the style of the card, you can see it's got the pokey body abilities, and so that came from like the third to fourth gen type of stuff that they were doing. And again, I was not collecting during this time set. So it's really cool to open it and see something that's similar to that, because I never got the feeling of being able to open packs back in, I don't even know when this would be, like 2005 to 2007, somewhere in that era. Because I did the original card collecting, and then I don't think I did card collecting again until, so after Rocket, X and Y, because that was, I really started getting back into Pokemon hardcore during X and Y. I had like a very long, it was like I did Red and Blue, I did the original gen. I dabbled very briefly in Gold and Silver, but not to any large extent, which is a shame because they are a phenomenal generation. And then it kind of stopped up through X and Y in 2013. And then I came back to it, and I've been like going back through all the things that I missed. So, all right. Surfing Pikachu. I know some people geek out and love these cards. They're kind of gimmicky to me, but whatever works for you. Flying Pikachu. I thought it was Surfing Pikachu. One of them was like really rare, I thought. But not in this set, in a different set. There was like a secret rare or something. Okay, another Flying Pikachu V. A Flying Pikachu V Max. And then to finish it off, I got a Cleffa, one of the baby Pokemon. So would have rather had a Pichu, but still, I'll take that. Okay, so those were the hits from the Celebrations booster box that I opened. Now, If you haven't opened Celebrations, when you open Celebrations, every single card inside the pack is holographic. So, it's really cool at first because obviously when you're opening mainline sets, it's like you're chasing and you want to get a holographic. Even when you get a regular rare that's a holographic, it's usually a nice feeling because you know that you could be getting just a dud pack where it's just a regular rare. Okay, so the concept of opening the packs and every single card inside the pack is a holographic. It does have a nice feel to it, but this set is small. It's let me see. No, that's got the original stuff on it. 25. Okay, so other than the reprints, because ones like this or like the base set Charizard or stuff like that, they will actually mimic the original card, right? So if you get the base set Charizard reprint for the 25th anniversary, it'll say like 4 out of 102 at the bottom, which was the original card number for that. But if you have the more unique ones that actually belong to the celebration set, it's 25 cards. So it is like a micro set of, the normal sets that are out there. All right. So that was Celebrations. And I still, even though it was a free card, I love that Greninja. That was one of the highlights. I literally, like I said, I've considered opening the other Elite Trainer box I have just to get a hold of the other Greninja. But it's probably smarter to leave it sealed and just buy a couple of the extra Greninjas for a cheap price while everybody's got them right now. So, because if you look at the price of sealed Elite Trainer boxes from like previous stuff, they get very, very pricey. So I know at the height of stuff, and the market's come down some, at the height of things, the Elite Trainer boxes for the 20th anniversary were going for like $800 to $900 for a sealed Elite Trainer box. So you think about that, and I'm like, oh, well, the hype during the 30th anniversary, they've already stopped printing Celebrations. They actually just came out and announced and said it was like February 26th. They were like, we're done printing Celebrations. We're not printing anymore. And I was kind of like, that was soon. I wasn't expecting it to be that soon because when they did Generations, they printed Generations for like, and Generations is the 20th anniversary set. I think they printed it for like a year. I loved that set, but I definitely remember it was printed past like, I don't even know what. They started in October, so like 4 months, 5 months that they printed Celebrations, and it's done now. So I guarantee you in the flipper market and all that kind of stuff, there's people that have saved it and they've got a hold of it. But even if it's only half of that, like $450, $500, it's hard. That's the only thing that keeps me from opening it, where I'm just like, oh, that could be a lot of money. And then if I flip that, imagine what I could do for the collection with $500. So, oh my God. All right. So, what do I want to do next? I think the rest of this is actually okay. So, a lot of this, some of these are like some pulls that I got from random packs, a promo or two. Most of what I have here, the remainder of it, is from the Brilliant Stars set. So, first and foremost, as I started getting Brilliant Stars, I picked up 3 Elite Trainer boxes from Walmart. I've opened 2 of them. I do have the third one, and I technically could open it. If I were to open an Elite Trainer box on camera tonight, I would do that one before I would do the Celebrations, just because Celebrations was so limited as a 25th anniversary set. Okay, so first, and I was very happy about this, pulled that. Okay. Now, of all the Charizards in the set, that is the least valuable one, but I'm not necessarily chasing it just on a value basis. I also am obsessed with Charizard. So it's like if a Charizard card is released, I'm interested in having the Charizard card for my collection. So I was able to grab that. This set has 4 Charizards. It's got the regular Charizard. It's got a Charizard V Max, which is like the Mega Edition or whatever for this current generation. Then there is the real big money makers. Oh, actually, I guess there's 5. Okay, so there's a full art version of the Charizard V, which is beautiful. I'm thinking of picking that up because that's only like 50 to 60 right now. That's definitely going to go higher in the future. Um, and then what else is there? Okay, so there's 2 others. There is the Rainbow Rare, which are the ones that are always like, you know, generally higher in price if it's a Pokemon of some desirability. So, like, out of a random pack about a year ago, I pulled the Umbreon Rainbow Rare. So we're talking about these types of cards. Okay. So this is at the height of the market was like a 45 to $50 card. I think it's come down to like maybe about 30 or 40 bucks for that Umbreon. But the Charizard Rainbow Rare that was currently released in the uh, set for Brilliant Stars is like close to 200 bucks, somewhere around there. And then the real prize is they've been so what they've been doing recently is they've been doing this thing called alternate arts, which is like the new thing that you want to chase. It's the most difficult stuff to pull. But the artwork on the alternate arts are gorgeous. They're phenomenal. It's like owning your own little Van Gogh or Picasso versions of a Pokemon card. So that is for the Charizard, it's got a picture of the Charizard with like its wings up and it's attacking and it's going after a Venusaur that it's in a fight with. So I would love to pull that card. The statistics and the data is against me doing that. It would likely be cheaper to buy the card outright than to actually do that. But obviously there's some thrill in pulling your own stuff and then the pride that you've pulled your own card for that collection. Okay, so one of the things that makes the Brilliant Stars series of cards nice is the trainer gallery. And the trainer gallery is basically these cards. Now, the first time I think they did this was in Cosmic Eclipse, but it's these cards that you can pull that have a Pokemon and a trainer next to it, a well known trainer, and it's got them in a nice display. Now, the thing that's cool about this, so this is the Dusknoir that I have. The thing that's cool about these cards is that the trainer gallery cards come in the reverse hollow slot. So what that means is even if you get a crappy pull for your regular rare, let's just say that you get some non-hollow regular rare, you still in Brilliant Stars have a chance of that pack being a good pack because in the reverse hollow slot is where they put the trainer cards, the trainer gallery cards. So it makes it nice because not only do you basically have that extra chance in each pack to potentially pull a really good card, but on top of that, on rare occasions, you pull two really good cards. And I've had that happen twice already where I pulled like a V Max or a V, and then I had a trainer gallery in the reverse slot on top of that. And that makes you feel like you really got a good hit when you took the pack on. Okay. So I've got two others here. Actually, technically three others. I like the artwork on that one. It's colorful. Okay, and then this is of the three my least favorite of the bunch, but still pretty cool. Okay, and then along with that, the third one, because I said that I technically had three others, was this one. Okay, so this came out of the trainer gallery. It doesn't actually have a Pokemon, but it was in that slot, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, TG 24 out of 30. So they've got 30 of these cards where it says down there TG 24 out of 30. Okay. And this is one of them. This out of the bunch that I pulled, this is like my least favorite just in terms of there's no Pokemon associated with it or whatnot, but this is actually the most expensive. And I don't know if it's because of actual like playability, if this card is playable. Your opponent reveals their hand, you draw a card for each trainer card you find there. And it's decent. Um, but there's lots of people that are also into just collecting the full art trainers. Um, and so it could be because of that too. So it's like when I say it's worth the most, it's like a $20 card. It's not anything crazy, but the others are like $5 or $6 that you could pick up. I got a full art berry. I was able to pull that out of one of the packs. I like this one more than the one that I just showed you, just because this is the main rival in Gen 4. So obviously, blue is my favorite from Gen 1, but I'll still take a full art rival card from any generation. It's pretty cool. Speaking of blue, got something coming up. Okay, full art. This, if I'm not mistaken, is Evolving Skies. So when you get the Celebrations Elite Trainer boxes, they give you the Elite, um, they give you the like 8 packs for the celebrations or whatever it is, or 10 packs maybe. But then they also give you 5, 6, something like that, extra booster packs like Vivid Voltage or Evolving Skies or stuff like that. And I did pull this. I think it was Evolving Skies that I pulled it from, but another full art trainer that looks pretty cool. So I've got that one. Okay. And then I pulled both Shaman full art and regular Shaman V. And it was interesting because when I pulled these, I remember back in the XY era, I think it was Evolving Skies is the new set. What was it called? Roaring Skies was one of the sets in that era. And Roaring Skies had a shaman in it, and the shaman had ridiculous versatility and playability in the card game. And they, if I'm not mistaken, they actually reprinted that set just on the fact that people wanted more shamans on the market because there was such demand for them. There was a thing where you basically, if you played the card, if you actually laid the shaman card down while you were playing, I think it allowed you to like shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 6 new cards, which if you haven't ever played the game, because I got very competitive at one point with the game, the ability to basically clear old cards from your hand if you've been playing for a while and get a refresh in terms of your hand is very, very valuable. At least it used to be. I haven't played the current meta or anywhere close to that in a long time, but I do kind of want to. I actually was pulling open the Brilliant Stars the other day, and when I was doing that, I was pulling trainer cards, like some Ultra Balls and some other stuff like that. And then I was looking at the energy cards. I was like, oh wow, the new energy design actually looks kind of cool. And then I kind of started wanting to actually play instead of just collect. And I was like, oh, I wouldn't mind actually building some decks and doing some battles and stuff like that. Maybe I'll take them into school and try to get some of my students to play battles. I'll bring in like electric deck and fire deck and stuff like that. So okay, other pulls. I got a Mimikyu V. A lot of people are fans of Mimikyu. Mimikyu's cool. Newer gen stuff, I've gotten more indifferent towards, but this is definitely one of the more memorable ones. I will. What is I will? You will play if I bring it in? Rhythm Ram, I don't even know who you technically are. So Mimikyu V Max. Okay. Well, I'm looking at it. I'm actually thinking of constructing some decks. I've taken out a bunch of the trainer cards, so I'm kind of saving up a whole bunch of my bulk that I'm going to sell off. Oh, what's up, Teddy? Nice. Yeah, we should definitely start a tournament. Jolteon. Okay, this was a promo card. So I got a hold of one of the Jolteon tins. And then this one, okay, so remember when I told you I had a whole bunch of Evolving Sky packs and I was actually able to pull something? Gyarados VMAX. I was able to pull this card and it was a random one. I had a whole bunch of like non-hits because it was more difficult to pull from, but I was able to pull this card and I was like, that's not a bad pull to finally get a hold of. So, all right, one of the grand finales. Give me a second here. I got to grab this stuff. This was ordered from Japan, so this took a while to get to me. Although this one wasn't as long as the other one, because these cards are from Japan, but it was a U.S. seller that actually got me these cards. All right. So a couple other things here. One of the things that I found when I went to Walmart was, and I couldn't believe this was sitting on the shelf, there was a Reshiram and Charizard GX box. And so what they did was when you opened up the Sun and Moon era cards in Japan, they had secret rare gold tag team cards and they never came to the US. But They have made 2 of them as promo cards in these boxes in the US. One of them they did was Charizard and Reshiram, and the other one they did was Pikachu with Zekrom. So I was able to find, just laying on a shelf, one of the promo boxes for the gold Charizard and Reshiram card. And because even though it's not a difficult pull because the promo was guaranteed to come in the box, these were more difficult to pull over in Japan. And so, just for the sake of the fact that it's got the gold hue to it, and obviously it's a Charizard card, I am going to hold on to this, and I put it in one of the really nice magnetic protectors that's got the thicker barrier here, just because I can see this card probably appreciating in time. I would have no intention of likely selling this card. However, I do want it in my collection because I am first and foremost a Charizard collector. And so that's that. Now, in what was the name of the set? Okay. So in the set in Japan, the set is called VMAX Climax, which I think is a terrible name. But VMAX Climax is a set that they have that will actually it's got most of the trainer cards that you get in the Brilliant Stars. So they have like the trainer gallery that I was just showing you. They had that in the VMAX special set, the VMAX Climax set. So I've already shown this on the channel, but you guys know this. This is favorite card of all time. Okay, probably outside of like maybe the base set Charizard, and that's just because of nostalgic purposes when I grew up. I mean, look at the artwork on that card. And it is my favorite Pokemon. I mean, technically Charizard's my favorite, but Charmander, right, from a starter standpoint. And it's got Blue, the rival from the first game. I cannot get enough of the artwork on this card. It's phenomenal. So I was very excited when I saw that VMAX Climax had a set of the first 3 evolutions with Blue as the trainer art. Now, as a disclaimer, this is available in the Brilliant Stars. So I'm hoping at some point I can pull them. They're probably cheaper to buy, only for a few bucks, but I got these, the Japanese cards, and I love the back of the Japanese cards. I like the ones in the US too, the English versions, but the color and the backing to these, also, not to rant and riff too much, the cut and the print quality on the Japanese cards is, I can't even begin to tell you how superior it is compared to the English cards. They are so much cleaner in terms of the cuts and the centering of the cards and everything else, which becomes important if you're talking about money and grading the cards and selling them. So anyway, the 3, technically 4, but 3 of them that have blue that I picked up is, look at this. Flareon with blue. Vaporeon with blue. And it's a shame that it wasn't like all the evolutions, because I would have gone nuts if they had Umbreon, because that's my favorite of the bunch. I would have loved that. But my tied with Umbreon, or really close to that because of the first gen, is Jolteon. And I have this card up on display with that other one that I showed you that I love so much. I just, the picture of Blue in the background there being his normal confident self, sending Jolteon out into the fight. I love, 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 love the artwork on these cards. And this came with the bunch. I wasn't necessarily looking for this actively, but it's still a really nice card, and I like the artwork. There's also the Eevee card. And in the back of that is, what's his name? Bill, I think is his name. So he's from Gen 1, like the one that actually created the Pokemon storage system. And he's got an Eevee there. And so that came along with the evolution set. So I was really a fan of that. Anyway, guys, I'm running on close to 50 minutes here. That is an update on some of the stuff that I have added to the collection over the past few months. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It was way easier for me to do the stream than to try to record all this and then have it take 5 hours to try to upload. So hopefully you guys can rewatch this if you want to. And I'm out of here. See you guys later.